know a lot of you aren't able to be here in person, and a lot of other people are asking for updates on the Ohev Beth Sholom Securing Our Future Construction Project and Capital Campaign. So today we're going to do an updated tour. It is May 9th, and we're going to walk through and give you every space and details on the space. So before we start, just to give everybody an idea of where we're standing, right here is Woodbine, and Elm Street is right on the corner there. When anyone pulls into our new parking lot, they will have two options. You could go and you could park in the lot as traditional, or you could pull around and get dropped off under our new portico. The portico was donated by Paula Brody and Meryl Hassenfeld, and it will have the words on the front, honor thy father and mother, to remember the value and your legacy and where you come from, but also honoring those that came before you. We're gonna do a little bit of a walk right now. Our turnaround driveway is wide enough and accommodates for most, if not all, drivers, and will drive you straight under to our portico. As we walk around, you'll see a grass space. Our landscape architect is working in partnership with me and our contractors to create an outdoor patio space. Mari Altschuler, in memory of her mother, has donated all of the new landscaping. The patio furniture, which was donated also by Mari and Sammy Winnick, will feature two picnic tables that are ADA, as well as two rocking chairs and a small table. And it will also have a fireplace and a grill from Brotherhood. And it will allow us to do a lot more intentional outdoor programming. So as we walk around, you'll notice on a lot of our exterior windows, they are reflective. They now have one-way privacy film on them. So people can't see what's going on inside of our building, but it does not at all reduce visibility outside. As we make our way to the portico, we also now have this center area. It will be beautifully landscaped, but also intentionally designed to help with drainage off of the new portico. When loved ones are dropped off under the portico, there will be two main features. The first, donated by Ben Pilson's family, is going to be a bollard which stops incoming traffic. The big feature here is that there is going to be a large menorah that is Ohev Beth Sholom's logo, designed by artist Tony Armini, that will be here, and that's what people will see when they pull in the lot. The second important feature is that the asphalt, when it's poured, is at a 0 grade, which means that instead of finding the right spot for a wheelchair to roll up, we're at a 0 grade from the beginning, and you can just drop off anywhere underneath this covering. Everything we're doing is being done with intention, and the idea is to give dignity to all people. So as we walk through, you'll see that we are focusing on ADA as primary and typical able body as secondary. So whenever you come up to our building, today, just like it will be in the future, you buzz in by pushing a button. Every person, the button will be on this side of the pole, will buzz in. Once we unlock the doors will automatically open. You don't need to have a separate handicap button automatically open for you. They will all automatically open, and you'll be able to go in. When we talk about going in, this is going to be a glass storefront. It'll have ballistic resistant glass on it. And the idea is that once you're in this space, you're in our building. There won't be any other doors that you have to work with. There won't be any finagling of mobility devices. You'll be able to come in. Let me start with, we know is an active construction scene, so there's a lot of things laying around. We'll show you later on, but this right here is our elevator. It has been delivered and starts to be installed next week. It takes 2.5 weeks to build an elevator, and the elevator is built on site. So when you see big things laying around right now, that's our elevator. Once you're in this space, you could come in off the portico, or if you park in the parking lot, there will be a button here and you come straight in. Again, it'll be 0 grade, there won't be a step. You'll come right here off the parking lot. The door will automatically open. The glass enclosure is what we are referring to as our security post. Sammy Winnick donated it in honor of the work the Youngstown Police Department has done for our congregation and our community. And this is where you will see our police presence upon greeting, as well as our typical greeters. Once you come in, there will be an archway into the building, and that takes you into the Sam A. and Judy Roth atrium. So, once you walk into our security post and you come through the arched doors, you enter into our Sam and Judy Roth atrium. And again, everything with dignity, 100% of our guests will come down a ramp. It isn't the alternative, it's the primary. The first thing you see when you enter the atrium is our Torah Circle donor board. This donor board, also donated by Paula Brody and her partner Meryl Hassenfeld, features all of our Torah Circle donors and messages to their loved ones. The plastic we are using emulates stained glass, and so we are able to create a new, modern, colorful look following in the classic colors of the gemstones of the stained glass we have throughout the building from Ohev Sholom, Beth Israel, and Ohev Tzedek. When you enter this lobby, on this back wall, there will be a live stone wall, just like we have outside on our pillars, and a 14-foot sofa for guests to wait for the elevator, which again is what all of this you're seeing is. The sofa, donated by Soft Touch Furniture, will feature armrests throughout, so those who sit have the ability to push themselves up when they stand. Also, while visitors are waiting to go into the elevator, we will have our Capital Campaign Honor Roll, donated by Bob and Candy Rawl. The Honor Roll will feature 100% of all donors to the campaign. No gift is too small. We have many people that are giving $18 in honor of their children to make sure that they can see their children's name on there. And we have donors that gave over $500,000. They will be listed as well. We want to make sure that people understand the value of tzedakah and generational giving, but also see their name and have pride in our Ohev Beth Sholom congregation. From this space, you will have a few options. The first is that you wait for the elevator, which was donated by the Schwabel Family Foundation, and you can take it upstairs to the Schwabel Family Foundation lobby, or you could walk out of the space, which is what we're gonna do. When we leave the Roth atrium, you can either take the steps upstairs, as people always have, or you could turn right, and we have renovated our education wing, and June and Alan Kretzer are helping and responsible for supporting that renovation. We have custom Hebrew alphabet wallpaper. We have the navy color that runs throughout the building, creating cohesion through the rest of the building and the education wing. And our classrooms, for those of you who have not been here for a while, have large natural light windows that are all ballistic resistant and replaced with security grant funding. We also, in each of our classrooms, have their own security feature. We are having new security cameras put in, and they all have individual access to Wi-Fi to make sure that the entire building is as modern as possible. So also, something very important in our education wing is to let our children know that they deserve to have nice things. So currently, our education wing bathrooms are very outdated from the 1950s. As far as I'm aware, they've never been renovated. And so we are taking a doorway that is about 30 inches. We're gonna expand it to 36 or 40 inches and taking the two restrooms down here and making them single-use ADA restrooms. One of the biggest features in these restrooms will also be a shower. Ohev Beth Sholom is an emergency relief site. God forbid there's a natural disaster or we lose power and people need to come here for heating or for cooling. To be compliant, we need to have showers. So we are adding those in our education wing to make sure that our students have what they need, as well as making sure that we have what we need in the building. So now we are in the Schwabel Family Foundation lobby. Like I said, the elevator will bring you up to the second floor. This space is going to be designed as a space for people to hang out. So in this corner here, we will have a custom 9x9 sectional. In the middle, we will have 3 or 4 different card tables. They will have 4 chairs each, 2 with arms and 2 without arms. That way those that need the arms to stand up will have them, or those with a walker will be able to fit them around. They'll also be easy and lightweight to move, so we can easily move them out of the way to add different mobility devices, such as a stroller or a wheelchair. When you come in, on this wall right here, Fred and Linda Knox are supporting a living history wall, is what we're referring to it as. There are custom acrylic boxes being made that will feature different artifacts from all of our congregations. So when it is Hanukkah, we'll have menorahs and Hanukkahs from all of the legacy congregations. And when it's Passover, we can put the Seder plates out, or just general memorabilia and artifacts. But what I think is one of the coolest features of the entire project, which is donated again by the Post family, will be a 60-inch interactive touchscreen TV, which is really a digital archive. The congregational families will be able to upload their entire family histories and be able to go through them on this archive. I like to say, think of it as a yearbook. You touch the screen, it opens, you could choose which chapter you want to go to, the history of our legacy congregations, the history of our congregants, general questions and answer, the history of Jewish Youngstown, and everything will be there, including confirmation photos, wedding pictures, consecration pictures, and anything anyone wants to share. In this space, we will also have a custom coffee nook, so visitors will be able to have water and soda and coffee, as well as a space that will host our board games and different social things. So when people come and they want to play Match or Rummy Cube or cards or bridge, whatever it is, we will have everything needed in the one space. When we walk out of here, which obviously has not been done yet, the door goes away, and this once again becomes an archway into the hall. So we're getting rid of those doors, and you'll be able to walk straight through. The design of the lighting in this space, just like downstairs, will feature decorative lighting in the center and can lights around the edge to make sure that there's adequate lighting for people with all visual abilities as well. So as you leave the Swayple Family Foundation lobby, you walk out and you walk into the Kessler Memorial Hallway. You could either go down the hall or you could walk straight across into the Altschuler office suites. What used to once be a classroom, we removed the door, created an arch, and we have modified the first room that was used for storage into the new office for the executive director. And here there's a few safety features I want to point out that you will also find throughout the building. We have a new window which allows us to see the parking lot. And if you see, there's black film around the window. That film denotes that the window is a ballistic window. So every exterior window in the building is a ballistic window. You will also see that this is tinted in that window. That shows that that is a one-way window, so it's a privacy window. Through security funding, a few years ago, we were able to get cameras. As you see, there's a spot for another TV. The state of Ohio has awarded us another grant to double our security system. Also, we are actively installing door access controls that will be at each office space, and they will also include panic button and panic hardware in case of emergency. When you leave this office, you'll have 2 ways. You could go back into the hallway, or for egress, we have 2 doors, and you would walk through the back door. Again, we come into that hallway, and you could walk directly into what is now the main office. The main office features Jenny's desk and Lindsay's desk. It is exactly as you remember it. They too have access to the TVs and security cameras, and they both also have access control to let people in and out of the building. Their window, once again, is also a privacy window. But most importantly, the main way to access this office is through the Kessler Memorial Hallway. We have put a doorway back. It was once there, but they blocked it because we added a lift, and we now have a doorway. And one of my most frequently asked questions is, what are we doing with the old elevator, or what I refer to as our lift? And we are keeping it, but we're keeping it for utilitarian purposes. Instead of taking the garbage out through the new elevator and through the new lobby, instead of moving heavy equipment up and down in the new elevator and new lobby, we will have this lift. That elevator is really for people moving. It is to bring guests into the building or help them leave the building. It is to help get emergency items upstairs, or if we are having a funeral up here, it will also allow us to bring a casket up in the elevator and throughout the building to have a funeral in the sanctuary. So when we leave the Schwebel Foundation lobby and we move into the Kessler Memorial Hallway. Originally, this was just a hall. Rabbi Berman, though, is very intentional when she speaks of making every space in our synagogue a ritual space. And over the years, we have unintentionally been doing that in this hall. And through the Kessler family support, we were able to make it now intentional. Starting with the eternal light that was over the ark at Ohev Beth prior to their merger, acts as an eternal light in the Kessler Memorial Hallway. All the lights in this hallway dim, so they could be bright, but we could also keep things dark and allow them to be solemn. We also have replaced all of the doors from the old school doors into decorative and useful and pretty doors as if they belonged here. The yard site plaques from both Ohev Beth and Temple Beth Israel are in this hall. Underneath the yard site plaques, which are not yet installed, is a new chair rail that will match the wood throughout, which is a darker walnut color. So the tables in the Schwebel lobby, the underhang under the portico, a lot of the finishings are all gold and that darker walnut color that will also be featured in here. We also, what you can't see yet, is upon mergers and renovations, all of our legacy congregations have removed plaques from rooms. Through leadership, they have taken the plaques that they find valuable, and we are creating a new memorial board or two that will feature those plaques. So anything that Beth Israel wants to memorialize, or Ohev Beth or Ohev Sholom, we'll be able to put those plaques in this hall as well. Part of the Kessler Memorial Hall is also what I refer to as the gallery. It is the space right outside of the chapel and Handler Hall. What's very incredible about this space is that we have installed the stained glass from the sanctuary at Ohev Beth. So it is an internal installation. Everything is backlit because we wanted to make sure that the beauty of the colors still came out. So you're able to see all of that in here. People have also asked what happened to the stained glass from Temple Beth Israel. That stained glass is actually hanging in the library and in Handler Hall. You can see a little bit of it here. And it is external. So it is lit as artwork on the windows. So the windows over here feature the Temple Beth Israel stained glass. In addition to the greater Securing Our Future renovation, I want to also highlight the renovations and updates we've made to Tamarkin Chapel. So we have removed all of the orange carpet, the old padding, and we have refinished all of the chairs. But also of note, Ohev Beth had a Holocaust memorial scroll in their lobby, and we were able to install that directly into the chapel where our broken organ was. And so now we give deference and respect to the Torah and the Holocaust in our chapel on a regular basis. In this space, we have all new LED lighting. We will be getting all new sound and streaming equipment to make it cleaner and more streamlined when we stream our Shabbat services, but also help with those that are hearing impaired. As we walk, you can see that we also have a quiet room. The idea of the quiet room is multifold. It will allow people to take a sensory break, but it will also allow mothers that want to go in and nurse to have a quiet space to do so. It will be a place for children to be able to calm down, but it'll be a really nice, intimate, warm place for people to take a break. Something else that we've done very intentionally is we've removed the carpet from this main hallway to make it easier for mobility devices to move. So throughout the hallway, we have a floor. We're actually getting a different floor, but we have this floor, which makes it easier to move mobility devices. Okay. So Rabbi Berman is actually in a meeting right now, so we're not gonna go in, but Sally Blau, in memory of her brother and her sister and family, is helping to renovate Rabbi Berman's office. And so we're gonna walk by it, but I wanted to make sure that you were able to see. We have the new doors, there's new lighting, there's more modern amenities and furniture. Much like the 2 restrooms downstairs, we are renovating and creating 3 restrooms upstairs. The current women's restroom is being converted into a men's restroom. The current men's restroom is being converted into a single-use ADA restroom. It will have an all-size changing table in it to allow caregivers to care for their loved ones of all ages and of all sizes. And then we are taking what we call the music room and creating a new women's restroom. It will feature 3 stalls, benches, sinks, and a full-length mirror, creating a new modern space for our female population. So after we leave the new women's restroom, we are now walking down into what is my old office and now the Bistocki family virtual conference room. During COVID and beyond, many of our meetings have become hybrid. So this room not only will be suitable for small group meetings, for B'nai Mitzvah learning, working with different families through life cycle events, but it will also be used for various hybrid meetings. The TV on the wall, which they are currently installing, I asked them to step out for the video, so the room's a mess, will feature an AI camera that will move to the speakers, as well as an AI speaker and microphone, so we will make sure that people on screen can adequately hear what's going on. I also want to point out a few other big picture items throughout the building, and this happens to be a great space for it. Much of the artwork around the building will be customized. One example of what we're referring to as custom artwork is taking old Torah covers that are affiliated with families, in this case the Bistocki family, in memory of Cy and Eddie Bistocki. And we will be creating custom enclosures for the Torahs, and they will be hung around the building as artwork. Those are donated by the Shapiro family. We will also have custom mezuzahs made, donated by Carrie Immerman and Dr. Bruce Wilner, that will go on all of the new doorways throughout the building. And we also have had major infrastructure upgrades, including electrical and HVAC system. And part of that was donated by Elliot and Chris Ligo. When we leave what used to be the office and now the Bistocki virtual conference room, we move into our new playroom. The playroom's in the old main office, and it was donated by Hannah, Ian, Jack, Arlo, and Harvey Anderson. All of the toys in the playroom are incredibly intentional. There is not anything with batteries, so we don't need to worry about extra noise. There is a lot of creative play and role playing. And on the different holidays, the various kitchens will feature holiday things, such as Shabbat for the candlesticks, or latkes, or Seder plate. What you will also see in here is that we have a TV. It will be updated and will always stream all of our services, Shabbat or high holidays, automatically. This room also has not yet been renovated to the full extent, but much like the other rooms, the windows in here are private one-way windows. They also have ballistic film on them. The walls will get repainted to be much more child-friendly, and all of the wires you see will be pulled up. Also importantly, we have glass windows now. We will be replacing the glass with more soundproof windows as to not to disturb the services happening around the corner in the sanctuary. So this isn't part of this renovation, but if you haven't been to the building in a while, we took the Ohev Sholom Memorial Hall space and renovated it with Doug Abatello as our architect to create ADA accessibility into the sanctuary. So we'll walk up. What we did is we kept the serenity of the space, and we used the gate that was created by Wendell August Ford. We kept the same wood and repurposed it to create the aesthetics, but we've also this way connected the old part of the building, the sanctuary, to the administrative part of the building in a way that people can get in and out without needing to go outside and around a block. One of the reasons I want to feature the ramp is because it brings us into the sanctuary where we also really focused heavily on ADA accessibility. Every renovation we made in the sanctuary is strictly for ADA purposes. It included removing a few chairs to be able to get a wheelchair up and through. The old chairs came out here and there was not enough clearance against the wall. It also included having new carpet replace the worn and tattered carpet that was on the pulpit, and refinishing the very dated and washed out fabric on our chairs. The Sokolov family is sponsoring the greater renovation in this space. Much like the chapel, it also includes LED lighting, streaming capacity, and sound enhancements. The sound enhancements will not only go towards hearing aids, but will also work with other earphones connected to cell phones, so it'll be able to enhance the sound even if you're not formally hearing impaired. One of the most important features, however, is our new ADA lectern, which is donated by Paul and Yetta Gluck. It will start at 32 inches by default and rise to a standard tabletop height to feature wheelchair height. It is important to note we had to remove chairs in order to be able to get a wheelchair around the lectern. While this is a model of it, it is exactly true to size. And so you will have a sense of what we have. The lectern is portable. It will take 2 people to move it, but by design, we'll be able to take it in and out of the sanctuary if we choose to or not to use it. You'll also notice when you come in on the sides, we have removed groups of 2 chairs on either side, and that will also allow for people who come in with mobility devices to have spaces for either a wheelchair, crutches, a stroller, a walker, and be able to be in the sanctuary space with dignity and not relegated to the back of the room as we have done historically. One more big feature of this space will also include the aesthetic stained glass. Right now we have it on the back corner on either side of the balcony. We will be intentionally installing that stained glass further forward in order to make people feel that when they come in here, we're able to have both historical spaces here. Also, the company making our lectern is also creating new handrails. We have the set of 2 here, but we are also creating handrails here. So as people come up to the ark, they have something to hold on to, and they aren't unsturdy while they wait like they have historically been. So when you leave the renovated education wing, we go into what I call the Strauss hallway, which is a hallway that takes you down to Strauss Hall. Paula Brody and now Hassan, in addition to what they've done, are also helping us with renovating this space. We will have new floor, we will have a drop ceiling, but most importantly, we are adding 1/4-inch drywall to this paneled walling and replacing it with the wallpaper that we've used throughout the building. The long, bright white paper, which will give this entire space a more modern feel. At one point, we were going to remove all the paneling, except what we found when we tried to do so is that they never insulated behind the wall. And so we are covering it. When I was talking about all of our new systems, one thing that we also have is our new boiler. So people always ask what's behind the door. Now is a better time than any to show that we do have a new boiler in the building that also has fire access outside. So we have our new boiler as well as access outside. And to end our tour, we are going to exit what we used to call the office door and the office entry, which now we use for storage. These doors are now covered with a film that is a one-way film. And when you come outside, you can see from the outside, we have uploaded artwork that is found in our building with directional signage to bring you around the corner and back to where we began.